Hey guys, this is Jason Morris with Real Estate Agents to Really Work. So guys, this is my for sale owner mastery series. In this recording, we're going to talk about the actual what my for sale owner listing presentation looks like, and it's probably different than what a lot of you guys are thinking about. I mean, it's my whole presentation and my whole for sale owner, I guess, formula revolves around trust, building trust. The seller has a problem. They feel like to solve that problem, selling their house is going to solve that problem. So you're following up with a helpful, from a helpful point of view. I want to help you, with the mindset, hey, I am the best person to help you. So my listing presentation is probably different than what a lot of listing presentations you guys see. I don't have big boards that I carry in. I don't have anything real flashy. Um, and Because my presentation, when I get to the door, the seller clients, they already know all about me. And by the time that I get to their front door, between follow up, confirmation of appointment, setting the appointment, all that stuff, I've probably talked to the sellers anywhere from 4 times, 10 times or more. They've already seen my pre-appointment package. I've confirmed they've received it. They've seen the copy of their paperwork in their email. They've received their net sheet. So now I'm getting to the house. I've already got the comparables pulled. At this point, you should have already went through your active pricing strategy. So that way you know how to explain all the comparables and stuff out there and the active comparables. You want to print out the most relevant ones, look at the pictures. You made a couple of notes on some listings. Even though this only takes about 10 or 15 minutes, these people typically, they're impressed because they feel like you actually done some work before you got to their house. I mean, some agents just get there. Man, they walk around kind of aimlessly, hang out for an hour or two, talk about nothing, and then they leave. And then they try to follow up and get the appointment. I don't show up to the appointment to preview a property. I show up to the appointment to list the house. I never tell a seller, hey, look, I'm showing up to preview the property for buyers because, I mean, maybe I got a buyer in mind for it, but, honestly, maybe I don't. Technically, we've got access to a tremendous amount of buyers because we have access to MLS. If you have access to MLS, the reality of it is you have access to the largest pool of qualified buyers being represented by real estate agents. And the largest pool of qualified buyers are working with real estate agents in your market right now. You have access to that. But, okay, so I make it a habit to show up like 10, 15 minutes early. I want to sit in the driveway for about 5 minutes. I usually look through my paperwork just a few minutes, look at the comps a couple of minutes. The process works better if they step outside and kind of wave at me and wave for me to come on in, man, that's even better. But so I sit out there a few minutes in the driveway. I look down through my stuff real quick, make sure I got everything, make sure I'm prepared, because it's the last chance before, it's showtime. And so I walk up to the door, knock on the door, ring the doorbell. Then remember, this is all about trust. Everything you're doing is about trust. I take a couple of steps back so they can see who I am. You never want to stand right up next to the door so they can't see you. Or I've seen people turn around backwards, looking away from the door, and they look out the little peephole and they see the back of your head. Man, everything you do, remember, you're building trust. You want to be as genuine as possible. Just be a nice person. And I mean, most of you guys, most real estate agents, they're nice people. I mean, they got in the business because they're somewhat of a people person, or they're somewhat sociable. I mean, if you do a disc test, I mean, I'm like a medium D and a really high I, and a lot of really strong listing agents I've met in the past, they've been kind of a similar combination of D and I. So, but the more uptight and salesman I am, or the more uptight and salesman you are, the more people's walls just go up. So as soon as the door opens, I say, hey, how are you? I'm Jason Morris. I always stick my hand out and shake their hand. I always hand them 2 business cards. Hey, I'm Jason Morris. Here's my business card. It's nice to meet you. After a short introduction, I always just comment. I make a statement that everybody can agree with. Something like, man, it's hot outside today. Or, Gosh, I wish this weather would straighten up here. It's been raining for 2 days or whatever it is. Just something everybody agrees to with. I want to build a little bit of rapport, and I don't want there to be a lot of silence as I'm walking through the door. I then confirm they received my email for a third time. So um, I say something like, "Hey, Mr. Seller, hey, you got my email right? Did you look over it?" 9 out of 10 say yes, because remember, you emailed it over to them. You sent them a text asking if they got it. You called them the next day saying, "Hey, Mr. Seller, it's Jason Morris. You should have got my email. You got my email with all my pre-appointment information and stuff on it, and information about me and my team and what we do to sell houses. Just wanted to see if you had any questions." So this is the third time you're asking about that. So you go, "Hey, Mr. Seller, you got my email, right? Did you look over it?" 9 out of 10 just say yes. Then I said, "Oh, that's great. You wanted $100,000 for your house, is that right?" Or whatever price they said, because I want to confirm price as soon as I go in the door. I'm confirming they got my package, and I'm confirming price as soon as I go in the door. Then I say something like, "Well, I tell you what, you guys have a nice home," or if it's not a nice home, you don't really say that, but say, "Hey guys, so who wants to give me a tour?" So if it's a husband and wife there, say, "Who wants to give me the tour?" Watch and see who gives you the tour, like who takes action, because typically that's the decision maker. And I say that just because, um, if one of them immediately takes action and shows you around the house, that's the person that you need to be leaning a little bit more towards in your conversations, and you need to be leaning a little more towards their concerns. If one spouse says, "Hey, honey, why don't you show him the house?" Okay, then that may be your decision maker. But based on who shows you the home, you can kind of figure out who you really need to be talking to sometimes. So walk through the house. You'll at least appear to be extremely interested in the details of the home. And I'll tell you, like, man, I see a wide range of houses. I walk in some people's houses. The house is 10 years old. It looks immaculate. It looks like nobody's ever lived there. Then I'll go in the next person's house. Man, it's a year old and the place is absolutely gross. I feel like I need a shower when I leave. But what I do, I point out anything that I see is going to be a real issue or problem for a potential buyer. And I always talk as if we're already working together. I say things like, "Hey, so when we show buyers your home, blank, when we take pictures of your house to put it on the market, blank, everything I talk about is if I'm already working for them. If they mention they painted the house, yeah, well, we just painted. So, oh, that's great. Did you do it yourself? Oh, we just put down these hardwood floors. Oh, man, that's great. Did you do it yourself?" And if they did, and it looks good, comment about how good it looks. "Oh, man, you guys did a great job on these floors. Oh, man, you guys did a great job painting this house." After you've been on like 10 or 15 of these appointments, you're going to get a lot more comfortable being in houses and stuff. And you're going to start developing those questions or stories that you tell at every appointment. You want to start asking the same home condition questions at every appointment. Confirm the information they've already gave you, though, also, such as, "Hey, so you said the roof was 5 years old? Oh, that's great. You said you just painted, right? You said the carpet was new." Whatever they told you that seemed like a plus for them, ask him about it when you get there and you're walking through the house. "Oh, well, that's great. You mentioned that you guys put a brand new roof on. That's great." And then mention any motivating factors. If they're moving, if they're wanting to sell a house because of a job, or they want to upsize or downsize, whatever their motivating factor is, ask them about it. If they told you they're moving for a job, ask them about what they told you. "Hey, well, Mr. Seller, you said that you had to be, gosh, you got a new job to starting February 1st. Where are you going to be moving to?" Ask them about that motivation. So once the home tour is finished, the line I always use, typically that home tour, 10 to 15 minutes, depending on the size of the house and depending on the architecture. Most homes are going to be pretty cookie cutter, or they are for me. If it's a little bit custom, it might take you a little bit longer to get through that. It might be some more features of the house, that you want to look at, or some features that they're a little bit prouder of than others. So once the home tour is finished, I always use the line, "Mr. Seller, I really appreciate you guys showing me your home. I always take these appointments very seriously, and I've done a lot of research before I got here. I want to show you what I found out. Can we sit at your kitchen table so we got plenty of room to spread the stuff out?" Um, Me personally, I always sit at the kitchen table. You need to develop a routine about where you sit. If you feel comfortable sitting at the couch, say, hey, well, let's sit here and we can spread everything out on your coffee table. I personally, I always feel comfortable at the kitchen table because I got plenty of room. If I sit at the end of the table, the husband can sit on one side and the wife can sit on the other. One spouse can be on one side and one spouse can be on the other. So pick a place you're comfortable and you want to do the exact same thing every time. If I end up sitting on the couch rather than the table, honestly, it throws me off. So you want to develop a routine so that you feel comfortable at every single appointment, and it puts you in the same state, the same mental state every time you go through the process. So as soon as I sit at the table, I say, "Hey, Mr. Seller, we received my pre-listing package," and you look through it. So you already know my team markets two different ways. We market to the general public looking for home buyers. Then we also market to other realtors so they can share your home to qualified buyers also. The largest pool of qualified buyers are already working with realtors. So we want to get your house in front of as many people as quickly as possible. And then I look at them and they typically they agree with that. They've already told you 3 times they've looked through your appointment package. So then I immediately go into pricing strategy. Mr. Seller, I probably price property a little different than most realtors because nobody has a listing price strategy. So you're going to be one of the only people that talk about this. So if they've met 10 realtors, you're the only guy that had a true listing price strategy. And you're going to have an active listing strategy. So I say, Mr. Seller, I believe in an active listing price strategy rather than a sold strategy. The buyers looking at property today can only see the properties listed on the market today. So the property that sold in the last week or last month isn't available anymore, and the chances are slim it's going to come back on the market in a time frame that would be acceptable to the buyer. And even if it does come back on the market soon, it's not going to be at the same price that it was 6 months ago. So we're pricing your home to compete with what is on the market today. Then I talk about all the comps and everything and that I looked up and stuff. Once we go through the comparables, once I go through my pricing strategy and stuff, I pull out the net sheet. In the perfect presentation, the middle column will have the price they're looking for. So now listen back to my recording where I talk about setting up your net sheet. You can get that set up. But I briefly go through the net sheet because I present that just like I do the paperwork, just like everything. I circle them. I go through it and say, hey, here's what your attorney fees are. Here's what this is. Here's what that is. These are the common costs. Here's what my commission is. And this is what you're going to put in your pocket. As soon as I tell them what they're going to put in their pocket, I circle it. I point my ink pen to it and say, you guys said that you wanted X number of dollars. Would this be acceptable to you? And so as soon as I say that, I just wait. And typically they're going to tell you yes, because you've already confirmed price with them. Usually you confirmed it on the phone. You confirmed it when you walk through the door. You're showing them the net sheet that supports the price they want, and you've justified it with your active pricing strategy. So as soon as they say yes, I go and close. My closing question is always, so Mr. Seller, do you guys want me to start working for you today? I have all the paperwork with me and I can go over it real quick. And the typical answer is they look at you and they say okay, or they say yes. So then I go through my listing paperwork script. Remember, this is the explanation that's on a third grade level. It's easy, it's painless as possible. Listen to my other recording where I talk about your listing paperwork presentation. All of my paperwork's filled out. As we go through it, I confirm price, I fill in the price blank on the listing agreement. I go through all the disclosures. I answer any questions for them, help them fill out anything they need to fill out. Once I finish this, I go through everything first. Once I finish, I hand them the ink pen and tell them, all you guys have to do is initial everywhere that's highlighted and sign the back page. So my whole presentation appointment takes about 30 to 40 minutes total. They already have all the information before I show up, and they know everything they need to expect. They know I am showing up to do business. They know who I am. They know about me, my team, and what we do to sell houses. So your listing appointment, it needs to be easy and painless as possible. The simpler your appointment is, the better. Because here's the thing. Everybody's in a hurry nowadays. And nobody wants to sit through a 2 hour painful presentation that's nothing but just information overload. And if you're doing a presentation like that, you're getting to the end, and then they're saying they look like they're falling asleep at the table with you, or it looks like they would rather die than continue sitting there, and they do not list with you, it is because they are assuming everything you do is extremely long and drawn out. They just want their problem solved, they just want their house sold, and they just want to get away. They want to get rid of it. Now, I'm not saying they're not appreciative that you're there, not saying they're not appreciative that you're helping them, but they're not there to sit through a 2 hour presentation. I mean, when people ask me, hey, so how long is it going to take? Man, we'll be through with everything in 20, maybe 30 minutes. So, but the reason why you're going through that long presentation that you think is amazing, that you have amazing graphics and you have a video that goes along with it and all this stuff, the reason why they're not listing with you is because they never want to sit through anything like that again. It was horrible, it was boring, and they just don't want to do it. So you need to form, after you go on like 8 or 10 of these listing appointments, you're going to kind of have, some questions you're comfortable with down, some rapport building questions down, and and you're going to go through your pricing strategy. You're going to go through your listing presentation, your net sheet, actually sitting with live clients, and that's what you have to do to get better. Okay, you have to go out and you have to get in front of people and you have to go down through it to get better. The more you practice, the better you're going to get. The better you get, the more listing appointments you're going to close, and you're going to leave with paperwork signed. Man, I take my camera, I take pictures while I'm there. I have a sign in the back of my car. I put the sign out. Typically, I'm doing a one appointment one appointment close. I don't do these 2-step listing appointments. Man, and the time it takes you to go there twice to get the listing agreement signed, you could have listed 2 houses instead of 1. So if you guys have any questions, post them in my group, Real Estate Agents That Really Work, on Facebook, or post it in the comments down below, and I'll answer any questions you have. Guys, if you guys are looking for sale owner leads, RedX has a great service. If you're already subscribed to the service, you're looking for more leads, I've got a book, 53 strategies to get more listings. It's available on Amazon. I'd love for you guys to share these videos in this for sale buy owner master series with as many people as possible. I want to help as many people as I possibly can, and it starts with you guys. I hope you use this and I hope you make a ton of money, and I hope that kind of clarifies some on what your presentation should actually be like.